welcome back to Kidsy Toast Sometimes. This is our 30th installment of KETS and Chlo. How crazy?
How crazy?
How crazy?
First of all, I just want to thank you. I just want to say.
Yeah.
I am thinking. I don't just want to think.
Thinking out loud.
Thinking out loud. I think your high is 10 times worse than mine. So for all the perverts on the internet saying, Chloe must do the high. Well, just know you're weirdos.
I think because your high is like the original high.
It's got a bit more to it, you know.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair.
No,
that's fair.
I wouldn't say that is fair. But 30 episodes, Chloe.
I know.
That's quite crazy.
I know. 30 is a weird number.
We sound like two UCT students talking about their exam schedule. Crazy, 30. Crazy.
Hectic, eh?
Hectic.
Hectic.
I must write exams at this university. No way.
No.
But I'm an architect. Why did that sound like a bad Australian impression? Yeah, they always happen in the movies.
Yeah.
But 30 episodes. I think we can. We still don't have a soundboard.
Yay.
So claps.
Just picture some cheering. That is completely crazy. Like reaching that 30 milestone. Sam is 5 years away from being 30.
What is up with 30-year-olds? They're weirdos. Like when you turn 30, it's overs.
Overs? Well, how so?
I don't know. Actually, I take that back. I think 30 is the new 16.
Really?
Like 30-year-olds should be skateboarding. Maybe?
This sounds like a movie Zac Efron should be in.
Yes. Oh yeah, the 30-year-old teenager. But don't judge him for having sex at school because he's 16. No, he isn't. He's 40. I know Zac Efron's 40. Leave me alone. I'm erect.
Oh my God.
No, only joking. But not about Zac Efron making one erect. That is a universal truth.
Yeah.
But Chlo dog.
Woof.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I think that's for internet weirdos. I find that quite creepy.
Yeah.
No, you're sweating at them, you're winking.
Oh my God. It's so hot. I was looking, everyone's like, oh, summer's over. I'm like, no, bring on winter. Recording because we close all of the windows and sort of stuff. We lock ourselves in when we record this podcast for you guys, obviously.
And for our safety.
Yes. South Africa, man. And
people love the show.
They just really want to get inside. Let us in. But we sweat bullets in summer and it's just the worst. And last week when we recorded, it was fairly tempered.
Temperate.
I actually do not know that word.
Clearly.
Temperate.
Is it? I don't know. Don't check me.
Anyways, we're just sweating a lot. But
my English degree helps me a lot because I say words with confidence.
Yes.
And only my mother's like, is that a word?
That's actually...
I don't know. Maybe. We're having fun, aren't we? And I don't know. There's something about sweating that's very humbling. Like sweating and needing to shit are two things that... needing to poo. Are two things that'll bring you down to earth real quick.
Yeah.
You know when you're like just sweating buckets, when you're meeting up with someone, going on a Tinder date. Girls have boob sweat.
God.
But I don't think they know the struggles of ball sweat.
That's something that needs more attention. We don't often talk about that. Yeah.
It needs more attention. And I don't know, I'll start a GoFundMe, save Samuel's balls.
I heard baby powder is a good way to go, just by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Life hack.
I've seen people in your family put on baby powder. But we won't.
Rose, I've got a question.
What save about... the family secrets.
Yeah, let's go. What about needing to poo and sweating?
Well, that usually happens when you're having diarrhea in a public toilet.
Typhoid.
You really start to sweat. You want to be taking shits in the comforts of and privacy of your own home. A public toilet will get you out of line real quick.
You know, some people hover on like public toilets, and I just want to know. What do you mean
hover?
Like they make sure that their bums don't touch the seats. I just want to know how your leg muscles are so strong.
They literally hover.
Yes, my legs start to shake and I'm like, I literally can't do this.
First of all, people are out here hovering and eating ass. Choose one. I mean, don't choose one. You have to do both or you have to not do anything. But then also, you know, like a gym fail. Imagine if your squat failed and you just went ass first into this toilet. What is the start of this podcast? Okay, I don't know. It feels like my intrusive thoughts are coming back and they're coming back quickly.
It's the long weekend.
It is the long weekend.
It just fries your brain.
So in terms of the episode, we're going to chat a bit about our long weekends. We're going to chat a bit of politics. We're going to chat a bit of sports. We're going to make you have a giggle.
Africa.
We're going to tickle your sweaty balls. And I don't know, I was going to say something about boobs, but that would have been weird.
Yeah.
It is by far our most childish start to the podcast. We just actually need to move a cell phone off that XLR cable. It might mess up the sound. Whoopsie. You didn't hear anything, average listener / viewer. And you're not average. You're probably above average. No, I wasn't going to say you're special. I'm not your parents. There's no need to inflate egos and then you end up working as an accountant for the rest of your life. You're still special. Anyway, we need an accountant.
Do we?
I don't know.
There's no money, guys.
Steve Harvey was speaking. I think he did a documentary about himself. I mean, the man knows how to market. And he was like, people asked themselves the question, like, what about all that tax evasion? You didn't pay tax. And he starts off the things like, so my accountant ran away. And I was like, just pay the money back, Steve. I've never known any accountants to run away. What would they do? I'm going to run away. But my spreadsheets.
I'll be back next Saturday.
Like they ain't going anywhere. But anyway, a bit of politics, bit of sport, a little giggle here and there.
South African cricket.
Oh.
Kylie Jenner.
I don't want to talk about her, but Chloe does. It's a fight we have almost every day.
Yeah. The Chinese plane that crashed.
Chloe, they're just planes. Stop Asian hate.
There was a plane in China that crashed.
But anyway, it wasn't a Chinese plane.
Let's not start off the episode with you trying to cancel me, okay?
I nearly cancelled Chloe in traffic today. She's in the wrong lane. We're both driving to the studio, the apartment. And I see this Honda Jazz, like, trying to switch lanes, but like do it like an entitled human being. And they're like, so first of all, then I swerve around her and then she hoots at me and then I look at her and go, it's Chloe. She is someone in a fit of road rage is actually going to beat her up or something because No.
There was a lot of space. You know, this is a perfect example of two sides to every story. There was a lot of space, right? I'm starting to merge. I'm literally halfway into the other lane. And then Sam doesn't slow down.
I have a theory. It's probably my most controversial theory.
Misogynistic.
Not misogynistic. I'm not saying women are bad drivers. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm saying women have unrealistic expectations of human beings in the traffic. So Chloe goes, I'm pulling out. The traffic will move around me. That's how things work. That's not how it works. And when men drive, they think because they're men and we're trash and so are women and everyone is. But we are more familiar living in the filth of trash. And we go, okay, this guy in the GTI is going to drag race me at any stage. He's going to cut into here. So you drive defensively, but aggressively. Defensively, but aggressively.
I stop for no one.
Kind of how parents used to raise their children. So there we go.
I just like to believe the best in people, honestly.
Yeah,
you know? But I can't even believe the best in my boyfriend, so evidently.
That just sounds like an excuse to cheat. But anyway, so we obviously had the long weekend, and long weekends in South Africa, I think, derail the economy more than any sort of, war or economic sanctioning, because we just shut down. And what I love is people plan their whole years around long weekends. Yeah. And that's so clever, because, put a bit of leave there, put a bit of leave, put a bit of leave, and you get to go and leave. And then we've got these holidays because of like the Sharpeville Massacre, which is a very heavy and sad and tragic event, and one that always needs to be commemorated in South Africa. But people are just pissed. It's like, fuck work. So I've always found it interesting.
Yeah, there's always like people who post like their yearly Instagram post about Sharpeville, they're like, okay, cool, and just carry on drinking.
I mean, I don't hate on people. The Sharpeville posts are very different, I think, to the BLM black square and stuff.
Yeah,
it's definitely not mainstream, and it's also part of our South African history and worth sharing.
It's actually concerning how many people don't know which holiday we're celebrating.
Yeah, Sharpeville. Oh, that's a great sharper now. No, that doesn't make sense. But and then I did the reverse long weekend. I said I was going off alcohol. Well, I haven't been on alcohol because I've been on lots of painkillers and antibiotics.
Sam had surgery.
I had surgery. Penis reduction. So coming off that has been tragic for everyone involved. Ooh, if only that were the truth. If only. But I do this like once every 5 months. I'm like, I'm not drinking. I'm never drinking again. Not because I'm an alcoholic. Calm down, everyone. Someone actually forwarded me like really nice advice. Someone listened to the podcast about dealing with alcoholism. I was like, that's very sweet, but doesn't apply to me.
I think maybe your jokes are like a bit too real.
Yeah.
People are like, is he joking though?
Yes. That's true. I like treading that line because people either go, oh, he's just joking all the time, and then you can kind of say anything to anyone. But then the flip side is that people think you're not always joking, and then they get quite angry. But I mean, no, what can you do? So
you're off alcohol, kind of?
Off alcohol until I go to Miami to lose my mind.
Yeah. And December, obviously.
That's actually I mean, come on. It's not drinking if you're doing it in December. Or it's not December if you're not drinking. They go hand in hand. But that's the new goal for the podcast. I want to interview Donald Trump in Miami.
Donald Trump in Miami? Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like that's what KETS is actually about. And now I'm stuck in this room with you, clipping my wings while I should be flying in Miami, interviewing Trumpski.
What is the one question that you'd ask Trump?
That's a good question.
Obviously it's an interview. You get to ask a lot of questions. But what's like the main question that you'd want to know?
The main question I'd ask Donald Trump? They're too many. They're too many.
Do you know what I want to know?
Let's hear what you'd want to know.
I want to know if he purposely makes his skin that orange. Do you know? I genuinely want to know.
You couldn't ask him that.
Come on, we've got him. He was
the 45th president of the United States of America.
I'm not American.
No, even I chat shit about.
I really want to know. Does he get a spray tan? Who does a spray tan? Because it's not good.
It has to be.
I don't know. Have you given thought to your question?
Well, no, because I think instead of interviewing him, I'd actually want to play golf with him, because I'd like to see him cheat. Because I think apparently he cheats when he plays golf, and that would just be funny to see.
I don't know how I don't really know how golf works, but I don't know how you would cheat.
It's like anything. You bend the rules, you kick the ball a bit further. You say, after hitting the ball 150 meters in the opposite direction, your ball magically, hey guys, I found it. No worries, no worries. So it's quite easy to cheat in golf. But like I said, we chat all this shit about Ramaphosa, Zuma, that sort of stuff. I guarantee you, if you ever met them or you went first, Mr. President, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, what a job you're doing with unemployment. Oh my word, you are just, that's how we are.
That is so true. I was not the president, but when we were watching F1, the amount of shit I've personally probably talked about Lewis Hamilton, that he's hypocritical. If I were to meet him, I'd be like,
you'd sleep with him.
So Lewis Hamilton, it's such an honor to meet you. You're just like a legend, obviously, which then does make me question my own
existence. Yeah. And rightly. If
I saw a squirrel on the promenade, I'd probably ask for a hug.
You out here, hey, squirrel, when you gonna create more jobs, squirrel? Yeah, you wouldn't. But and also the wind played a big factor in Cape Town. I know we've got people all around the world, all around South Africa that listen to the podcast. The wind in Cape Town,
it's unmatched. It is truly unmatched. It's honestly
indescribable, some would say. You fail to find the words around it.
Seriously,
it's a bloody mess.
I don't get necessarily annoyed by the wind. I think some people get inexplicably angry.
I do.
Yes.
It messes up my whole mood.
Wake up in the morning it's windy,
It's also if you have long hair and the wind blows, you can't see. I promise you, because your equilibrium is messed up because of your ears.
Yeah, okay. Hair tie, possibly?
Yeah, then I get a headache. I need this life. Wind is quite, by far, one of God's worst creations.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Him and Vladimir.
Okay.
The big pooty with a booty.
Okay, should we dive into some South African news?
Yes, let's dive in. Head first.
I'm about to dive in. You remember that song?
No. When I ever think of diving in, I think of my godmother who dived into a pool backwards and broke her neck.
No ways.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's my fairy godmother because she's dead.
What?
That's how she died.
No ways.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just joking. She's alive, but she lives in pain.
And oh my God. Okay. All right.
I told you we bring the comedy. Cool. So what South African news do you have for us?
Yeah. Well, have you heard that Uber's on strike?
Who is Uber?
Who is Uber?
Yeah.
An e-hailing service.
Yeah, no, I know what Uber is. So Uber is on strike. Tell me more.
Yeah. Well, it's not just Uber. It's all e-hailing services. So taxis, Bolt, Uber Eats, all of them. And they're basically trying to... Apparently, they only get 30% of the actual fare.
Jesus.
I mean, it's horrible. And that covers their petrol. Imagine if they crash, they don't have insurance. So they're protesting against that.
So they're on a 3-day national strike.
Yeah, until Thursday, apparently. So prices have gone up a lot. Like, if you've had a look at prices, like let's say you want to get to town or whatever, it's probably like 3 times the amount as it would normally be.
So wouldn't they make more money?
Yes. But that's part of the strike, I think.
Oh, that's the portion of the money they're making. Okay.
Well, because some Uber drivers are just not working, right? They're like protesting, I'm not going to drive. The other Uber drivers, the prices increase because there's not a lot of Ubers around.
Oh, yes, I see. Okay.
So one Uber driver I saw have said, well, it's like Christmas for us because the prices are higher. So he's just having a great time.
Well, I mean, that's not very helpful to everyone else who's striking.
I know.
But, I mean, again, people just care about themselves. And you know what? Fair enough. Or which like private school teenage girl is going to start an infographic. That'll change the industry forever. Yeah, it's, shame. And I also see so many Uber accidents. And especially the guys on motorbikes on Uber Eats, they just accidents all the time, and it's bad. And the guy's lying in the road, and my first thought is like, that McDonald's is going to be such a mess in that. No, obviously not. But it's I hope they didn't order McFlurry because that thing is going to be fucked up.
Extra shaken.
Yeah, no,
that's
obviously.
So
and you just probably don't have health insurance now. The livelihood's gone. It's terrible.
It really is terrible. And then at the end of the day, like you might order like a 35 Rand McFlurry. And then there could be, the machine might be broken. There might be, like Sam's had it where his meal's literally been delayed for 2 hours. Yeah. This poor Uber driver has to wait there for the food.
Makes no money.
And then you get 30% of it. It's just, it is really terrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Uber as a business model, whilst it's disruptive and everyone goes, tech's going to change the world. And it has. I read an interesting article is that these tech companies recolonize the world in invisible ways. Oh. Yeah, so it's like make use of cheap immigrant labor and high-end Silicon Valley tech development and marry the two. And it's like one makes all the money, one doesn't. So, yeah, not the best time ever.
Yeah. What's your craziest Uber experience?
Every time I get into an Uber is a wild ride. I have this thing and I can't help it. I just start lying compulsively. It's like my secret sort of fun thing to do. So the Uber will he'd be like, hey, Sam. I'm like, hey, CA307702. Ooh, I'm not dying tonight. No, hey, John, how are you? And then he'll be like, so what do you do, Sam? I'm like, yeah, I'm currently in the PSL. I play for Cape Town City FC. You haven't seen me on the weekend? And he's like, and it's hilarious because sometimes they'll be like, what? No, you are. Oh, you play striker. I'm like, no, I'm actually the defender. And they go, Of course. Or they'll just be like, oh, okay, and not care about soccer. Or I'll tell them I'm a teacher, or I'm studying maths, all things that I couldn't do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I find, what's your craziest Uber experience?
I've also, like, I don't normally lie, but for some reason I was really drunk coming back from Tin Roof the one evening, and it was just me in the Uber, which is quite unusual because I don't like to Uber by myself at night.
No.
And I mean, I only vaguely remember telling my Uber driver this story, but I was at medical school.
Jeez,
yeah.
So maybe everyone likes to do it.
I was studying to become a doctor. Most of the time, if I'm by myself, Uber drivers would try convert me to Christianity in that 10-minute trip. And I just start saying, no, but I am Christian. I am. And then they'll...
Or they judge you.
Oof.
They like, where are you coming from? Like my boyfriend. Oh, you're not married.
That actually happened to me.
No,
yeah.
I know. That's why I'm saying it. Okay. I wouldn't just be...
Okay. Yeah, they were like... The guy was like... Oh, so you're in your pajamas. Whose house was that? Oh, your boyfriend's. Oh, are you married? Oh, no. And he's like, your parents, like, basically, like, your parents would be so disappointed in you. And it's just terrible.
I've recently started Uber blacking. Yes, life is going well. No, it's just when Uber X surges and it's like a R5 difference, I Uber black. Guys, let me tell you something. If you can't go to Miami to lose your mind, get into an Uber black and lose your mind. Leather seats, smooth rides. You can also, there are all these pre-selected options. Do you want the driver to talk? What type of music do you want on? Do you want air conditioning? You can pre-select it. So if you have any form of social anxiety and a bit of dad's money, get into an Uber black ASAP. Rock her.
They should hire you. That was a great sales pitch.
No, I don't want to drive. I'll do their marketing.
No, I'm saying that aircon in Uber Black is the equivalent of like a McDonald's Sprite on a hot day.
Okay, I think we need to send you for some lessons.
I think other people will know what I'm talking about.
I've never heard anyone say, oh, Sam, you know what I'm craving. Sam, it is hot out here. You know what I'm craving, Sam? Is a McDonald's Sprite. I've never met anyone.
I think that there's people out there who will agree with me. It is just delicious.
But no, I'll let you have that one.
Thanks.
I think we should do some role play because I've thought about it a bit, and I think it's so funny how South African butts. Oh. So you can be the Uber driver, and I'll be the South African, the butt. Okay. So I get into the car.
Okay, cool. Live for Sam.
Yeah. Do you mind if like 10 of my friends come?
I mean, sure. My car's not big enough, but sure.
Okay. First of all, fired by Uber. No Uber driver ever lets you get into the car. Where there's a set amount of seats and bums on seats. Fired. I'll role play with myself. Like, happens more frequently than you think. But okay. So this is how every conversation goes.
Oh yeah.
You get into the car.
Yeah.
You have an aux. Hey, buddy. Mr. Uber? Also, why are people calling him Mr. Uber? Mr. Uber, you have an aux. And be like, no, that's aux. And everyone laughs. I mean, I'm just writing some material for you guys to use on your next Uber trip. You know? Do you think they'd enjoy that?
Yeah.
Or they have like the Uber driver racially profiles you.
Oh, yeah.
And then he like puts on a mix. He's like, okay, mid-20s, white. Okay, let's get some indie music.
Just Taylor Swift.
Yeah. No, not Chloe, I feel like you're very out of touch with culture.
Probably.
Like, they don't clock you and go, Taylor Swift. No.
Okay, what happens next?
And then what happens next? Yeah, busy night.
Yeah.
You had a busy night, and if the guy has had a busy night, you congratulate him.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you go, it's tough out there, hey. Knowing very well that you come from a trust fund and couldn't fuck up your whole life and be fine, and he's living paycheck to paycheck. After that, you guess that he's from Zimbabwe. It's the safest guess. He usually is from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Then you make some edgy political sort of commentary. And the but here, if you're a but, then you say, Malema could make Zim 2.0 here in South Africa. He will not understand that. And then you laugh and say, well, where would you go then? That's how you get into a fight in the Uber.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty...
Also by almost vomiting.
No. You tell him how I'm going to vomit unless you take me to McDonald's.
To get a Sprite.
Yeah. So yeah. That is how to survive in an Uber, or how to be an arsehole in an Uber.
Poor Uber drivers.
Yeah, they
really go through it all.
They do God's work, yeah. You see, that's why taxi drivers in South Africa are different gravy, because they're so rude to their customers. And I feel it's like, they play their own music. It's my rules. There's just a lot of shouting, a lot of shoving. Have you ever been in a taxi?
No.
You've never been in a taxi?
No.
Okay. I've only been in it a couple of times. It's crazy to think that many people in South Africa commute to that, because it's just inconvenient. That's what it really is. It's fairly uncomfortable compared to being just in a car. And that's like the primary way, because we've got no other real public transport that works. Oh well.
God.
That's life, I guess.
Yeah. Do you want to hear something else?
I hope
you want to hear something else.
Something. Oh God. No.
It's not exactly more uplifting, but so our police minister Becky Cloë has released. Do you remember what?
No, I was trying to do the click in preparation for me saying it, and then I said it out loud. Sam's
like away from his mic. He goes. I think I said it wrong. Becky Cloë, yeah.
So there was lights at the end of the tunnel anyway.
Apologies,
Choo-choo, it's another train. It's not hope, motherfucker.
Okay, serious face. So you remember last year's riots that happened in July?
Yes, civil unrest.
Yes. So 19 people have now been arrested. He's released a list of names of people that are most probably involved. And we're finally going to get a court case, I think.
Jeez. No, that was terrible. Like what? Over 350 people killed, billions of rand of damage to infrastructure.
And small businesses.
Life is oh so cheap here in South Africa. When white people say, God damn, John, last night was a riot. They haven't been to South Africa, because we do things differently here.
Oh.
Yeah. So it wasn't good. Very sad for the country. Also disgusting by the government, disgusting by the police force that we've had to wait so long for a list of names. Like, what's happened? Have they been arrested? Are they?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the word on the street. Yeah. Arrested 19 people. There could be more people involved, but 19 for now.
Well, I mean, how the hell do 350 people just get killed?
Yeah.
And there's nothing. Whilst you are sitting there pondering your own mortality, we're going to take a break and be right back.
And we're back.
Good. I was at a brunch of sorts with my gran the other day, and I asked her point blank, does she contemplate her mortality often? And she says yes. And I said, so like, what does that mean? Are you happy to die? And she said, no ways. And I was like, and she's 93. So it's just, I mean, human beings, we'll claw into life forever. And she's so full of life. I love her. I'm trying to get on the podcast. She doesn't know what it is though. She just shares it to her WhatsApp story somehow. I don't know how she does that, but like shares a photo of it. It's very odd. She's honestly one of the best people I know. 93, full of life. She's so cheeky, so funny. Like we were sharing a cheesecake and the waiter only bought one plate, and she said, "Oh, excuse me, do you expect us to eat me to eat this with my hands?" I was like, "What? That doesn't even make sense." And she said, and he came back, he said, "Oh, I was only pulling your leg." And I was like, "No, you weren't. You're using that plate now."
We literally forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, she's something else. I realized that probably wasn't a very funny story. It makes her kind of sound like an old racist lady. Which she
Why racist?
I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? She did say, we were sitting in the restaurant, she looks around, she says, "This restaurant is exactly like the colonial days." And I was like, "Oh no, don't say something. And then she was like, "It's disgusting." And I was like, "Woo, Moogie, you're the best." But she is the best. Anyway, weird segue about my grand overs. How about Cricket South Africa?
Cricket.
Speaking of things that aren't old and cool.
And bowling overs. You said overs, but it was like a bit of a while ago. Overs.
Oh my God, Chloe. I think when you finally pass over to the next life, we need to dedicate or give up your brain to science, because
Samuel.
No, I think we'll make some interesting.
That is very rude. Objectively very rude.
I didn't mean it to be rude.
Chloe, you are so dumb sometimes that we're going to actually have to donate your brain to science so they can study.
I didn't mean it because I think you think differently. That's all.
Okay.
You made yourself think that you're dumb. But yeah, so tell me more about the new Qriket South Africa CEO that you've just been waiting to tell everyone about.
Okay, so there's a new CEO of Qriket South Africa. I think the last one was fired in 2020 or 2021? 2021.
They rotate out every 2 months.
But they've just had a bad run. See what I did there? Of CEOs. The one was axed after a commission of inquiry. That's never good. The next one mutually agreed to part ways after falling out with the board. Also never good.
No.
And then the other one actually partied a lot and seemed to use the company credit card on his nights out. So a shame. This new CEO, I think that he's got a lot of cleaning up to do.
Make Hashim Amla the CEO.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He's very skillful. He's very patient. I was at the crease. I was in the boardroom. And the best part of all, every time it would do a public speaking event or has to appear somewhere or a board meeting, they'd have to introduce him going, please welcome to the stage, the mighty Hash. And that would just be cool for everyone.
That would be super cool.
Do you know who Hashim Amla is?
No. But it would be cool.
Hashim Amla is one of the most famous leg spinners on the planet now that Shane Warne has died.
Oh.
Yeah. No, he isn't. He's a batsman.
Well,
I mean, you did admit to not knowing who he was, so then me going on about it.
We should study Chloe's brain.
Should study my brain.
Who was was it Ali Boucher? Is that how you say his name?
Mark Boucher, Ali Boucher. So I'm going to give you 2 points there.
Thank you.
But you've also made a new human being.
Thumbs up. He was he CEO when Hansi?
Yeah, okay.
I think that he should be made CEO again because, I mean, he's just like faith in his players.
Well,
we need more of that.
It was misguided faith because Hansi was guilty. Let me see how old Ali Boucher is. I think he's about 82.
82?
Let's see. Ali Boucher. He's 79. Let the man rest.
No.
Let the man rest.
I'm sure that he would do that like with pleasure.
It's a tough job.
Yeah, that's
very
true.
Political in South Africa. It's a tough job. But Hansi Cronje kind of fucked that no like sort of white Afrikaner will ever be able to be the CEO again.
True.
Except I think there have been a few. But I wouldn't trust them after again. Hansi. Come on, Hansi. Come on. R.I.P. though.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Speaking of R.I.Ps and plane crashes in which Hansi died, this is a sad segue, but a pretty good segue nonetheless. There has been another Boeing crash in China. Yeah. Not a Chinese plane.
Well, it was a Chinese Boeing, I'm pretty sure. It was a China Eastern passenger jet carrying 132 people.
But it was a Boeing.
Chinese plane.
But say a Mercedes-Benz crashed in China, you don't say it was a Chinese car.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Winner, winner. Chicken dinner. But yeah. So what are the details of that? When did this happen? Because I haven't heard any of it.
No, it happened on Monday. And they're still under investigation. It happened really recently. Apparently they fell out of the sky at like 100 kilometers an hour. Something like that. I don't know how many casualties there were. They don't know why it crashed. But it does make you think of the Netflix documentary Downfall.
Oh, the Netflix documentary that I watched. You haven't watched that. That's what made you think of
I read the review, and that's enough.
No, you didn't. You listened to me speak about it.
Reading the reviews was enough for my film for my film major.
Yeah, Downfall. But Downfall basically all about Boeing cutting corners, safety measures, installing programs that aren't then told to the pilots, and then there have been 3 plane crashes now, 3 Boeings recently.
Yes.
The 737.
Anti-stall system,
Yeah, it's an anti-stall system that messes things up. But they've subsequently, they said they've trained people, but then why does this keep happening?
I don't know if it was the same issue. that caused this one to crash.
I'm not, but I was, that's fair to say, but it's not, it ain't good.
No, that saying, it's like, if it's not Boeing, I'm not going. You've heard that before.
Yeah, if it's not Boeing, I'm not going.
If it is Boeing, I'm not going. Oh, God.
Yeah, no, you took my punchline with your... Battling for punchlines, kids, you took something. No, yeah, it's not good. And I sobbed in Downfall because for the first time, they kind of focus on the dead captain's wife, and they show the families visiting the crash site. And when you see like half a little kid's shoe and this, and it just, because like we can even, like now, how we're talking about it, 130 people die in China, and we can talk about it and you don't feel too sad because you have no connection to them. It's just a number and you're reading it and it's like, oh, that's terrible. But there's no connection, so it's very hard.
It's heavy.
The poor families, what a terrible way to die.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only recently become okay with flying. Because it really scares me, and every time there's a little bump of turbulence, I pray, and I'm like, Jesus, please, I know we've made a lot of jokes about you, but you're a good guy, and Jesus, this turbulence, I promise you I'll go to church again, and it's just been, please Jesus, get us through this terrible period, get us home safely, Lord. And then the turbulence stops, and then I stop praying, and then I don't care anymore because now I'm focused on chicken or beef, the big decisions. But can you imagine plummeting to your death?
Yeah. No.
Well, how high do planes fly? Like 30,000 feet in the air?
Feet. Actually,
I mean, 30,000 is a lot of feet.
It's a lot of feet. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I'm also, for me, I'm okay when we're in the sky.
Siri. How do you call Siri these days?
I don't know.
Siri. You have to type her in. That seems impractical.
You've probably switched it off from being voice activated.
God,
because she always pops up like you might be saying, I'm serious about this. And then she goes, sorry, I didn't quite get that.
Where is this biatch?
Just look it up on Google. You're spending more time trying to get Siri to speak to you.
Hey, Siri. What the fuck? How can she me? Siri. How high do planes...
I won't respond to that.
Siri, how high do planes fly?
Any minute.
Someone needs to call up Steve Jobs and say, this is a Hey Siri, how high do planes fly?
This is just crazy.
Okay, I found this on the web for how high do planes fly. Check it out.
Thanks.
You are spot on.
31,000 and 38,000 feet. So there we go, Chloe. Don't ever
Sammy,
check me again.
That is so impressive.
Thanks, Siri. Now fuck off. No banter? No. Okay. I'm definitely done with that application.
How are you so spot on?
I mean, I'm a man of international travel and leisure.
Wow.
Yeah. But no, it's... I don't know. Back to the praying parts of flying. What's up with Jesus? Like, I can get on board with some of the stuff, but your mom's a virgin? It's pretty sus. I mean, that is a step too far in blind faith.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Yeah. I remember there was a TikTok that went viral. I know that Sam doesn't like when I reference TikToks. But this is one
you
guy...
make me sound like this abusive...
No,
Sam does it...
What? Not in like real life, but maybe because people on the podcast haven't seen it. But it's this viral TikTok, and it's this guy and this girl, and he's like, yeah, I made this pie. Well, I didn't make the pie, God did. And she's like, Joseph, like, how did you even, like, there's no ways that God made that pie. And he's like, do you see how that sounds, Mary? Like... Can you believe it?
Chloe, you need to get your pensioner's card. It's time. You're the only person I know who explains TikToks to people. It's like my dad. Have you seen this TikTok? And then the one person does this and the one person does that. And then he's like, no. I think it's impossible comically to explain a TikTok.
That's true. I think that one crashed and burned.
Poor choice of words given the context.
I just realized.
Speaking of things that also crashed and burned, Trump. We've touched on it at the beginning of this podcast, but he's also said recently in interviews that it was his personality that kept the US out of the war when he was president. And this was in Florida, Miami. That's why I want to go to there to lose my mind and speak to Trump. And then he adds that he was the only president in 4 decades who did not get America into any conflicts, except he totally defeated ISIS. So like no conflicts, but he won one of the conflicts.
I know.
Interesting.
So dumb.
Yeah.
He actually he hasn't declared war, which Obama has and other presidents before that. So he hasn't declared war, but under his administration, there was like very violent conflicts in Yemen, Somalia, somewhere else. And then he didn't defeat ISIS because Obama did most of the like war against ISIS.
Obama.
Excellent.
Yeah, Obama fighter jets.
They killed a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people.
Yes, we can.
Like 50,000 people.
Yeah, he's a black president, so he must be awesome. In some regards, yeah, obviously. But he can also be terrible. And all the stuff that comes out of all the airstrikes and the drones, you're like, ooh, how could you kill that many people for freedom? Anyway, but I love Trump. And yeah, take that to the bank. Do it. He is just so entertaining. Like, remember when Trump was on Twitter? Remember when Trump was in the news?
His Twitter fingers.
Oh, beautiful. I mean, it was a good time. Maybe not to be American, but to be a outside party.
Yeah.
And I heard the most hilarious thing in one of these Trump documentaries that at the start of every morning he gets like a stack of papers, and I'm making a big stack. Yeah, no, this is big. Trust me. The size is big. And and reads through all the press and gets his like press secretary and that, no, not the press secretary. I just put press and press together. And gets, sort of people on his staff to clip out all the articles about him, and he reads it. So,
wow.
And I was like, he has made press about him reading press about himself. This man is a genius. He's a genius. He might not be a business genius that he pretends to be, but he's a marketing genius.
Yeah.
100%.
CNN has just run out of stuff to talk about.
And I mean, he was recently on the Full Send podcast, which is quite a wild bunch of guys and gals. Actually, just guys, because, women are more intelligent than that. But he went on the podcast. It's the first time he's done one of those big sort of interviews. And he said to them, this is definitely going to be removed from YouTube. And they were like, no ways, Mr. Trump. No ways. We're cool. We know YouTube. You know, kind of like what we're doing. Oh boy. Anyway, and he was like, okay, boys, you're young, you're optimistic, but you're gonna get fucked. And then they removed it from YouTube. Yeah. Crazy.
But if you look at the reason why it was removed from YouTube, it was basically fake news. That is why it got removed.
He was talking about the election and there being fraud.
Which
but why?
Can be, like...
Why can't he speak about the election being defrauded if that's his opinion? Why? And I get it. No, Sam, he's so powerful and he divides nations and people and he's very... And that may be true. But it's also scary. And this is not a Joe Rogan attempt or Joe Bogan-esque butchering of the free speech.
Yeah.
But, like, come on. Because I watched that interview as soon as it came out because I thought similarly. And it was interesting, but I also thought this might get taken down. And I watched it. There was nothing bad said. The only thing that was really, questionable was him saying the election was defrauded. But he took that to courts. So if you can speak about it in courts and that sort of stuff, why couldn't you speak about it?
Yeah. No,
it's just, it's a bit concerning, I think.
But I mean, he was also going on about like Putin wouldn't have declared war because while he was president.
Why couldn't he say that?
I guess.
Of course. There was massive conflict in the Ukraine, Crimea and stuff, and under his and Obama and that sort of stuff. But
True.
There was no invasion.
True.
So
You got a good argument.
I don't know, it's not an argument. That's people lose their minds when it comes to speaking about Trump. But it's like when you actually just pull out and look at, obviously he's done atrocious things, blah, 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 blah. But when you go from situation to situation, not more often than not, but quite a few times, he's on the button in terms of what he says. So
fair.
The Donald, I think he should come back and run on a LGBTQ platform. Make America gay again. Can you imagine? The conservatives would be confused. The left would have to vote for him. It would be fantastic.
That, I imagine if that happened.
It would be fantastic.
His caps would be with rainbows.
Yep, and it looks like Chloe might be wrong about Trump, but she is right about F1 because Charles Leclerc is currently leading the World Drivers' Championship.
What did I say?
Is that what they call it? That is what they call it.
And Haas has got more points than Red Bull.
Oh, you love to see it.
When did we ever think we would see the day?
No, never really. So I'm also very happy because Charles is my favorite driver. But I put my money on Hamilton to win the season. Chloe, Charles is not her favorite driver, but she puts her money on Charles to win.
There was no money necessarily.
Yeah, but
figuratively.
Cultural currency.
Of course.
You know, who is your favorite driver?
I actually don't think I have one. It was Max Verstappen, but I don't like him anymore.
Oh.
I don't.
I think he's a fantastic driver, obviously, but probably ability.
Yeah, I think he's just got a lot of like growing up to do, maybe. He just seems like
I was just laughing.
Sam's just laughing, yeah.
No, because this is a lot like I was just realizing this is like the Cyril or the Trump or the.
Oh my God! If I met Max,
honestly, if I saw Max, I was like, "Hey Max, I'm your biggest fan."
That's
mega, super Max. You know, talk about him on the podcast. You're like, he's a piece of shit. He's got so much growing up to do. Mind you, he's the same age as me. Dating. QBS.
Yeah.
Ex-boo thing.
That's the thing, is like
achieving everything in the world.
He must grow up. I do like actually kind of want him to win, but I also like don't agree with a lot of the stuff that he's done. So
yeah, I don't want him to win.
I don't know. And then
Kevin Magnussen.
Yeah, K-Mag. The return to F1. He scores points. It's just so awesome. This podcast is falling apart.
It falls apart from the absolute beginning, so you can't say it's just started to.
Also, I wanted to say that no one was cheering louder than Sam when both of those Red Bulls broke down. He's like, "That's karma, Christian. This is just racing."
I mean, I like Checo. I think he's a cool guy. I hate Christian Horner more than anyone in F1. Like, I would go for dinner with Marzipan over him. But anyway,
yeah,
that's a little burp. I think it is time, Chloe, for you to make your long-awaited return to Overrated, Underrated.
Yeah.
We still have disagreements on how exactly what this game means.
Yeah.
But we will swing for the fences as per usual. So I'll ask Chloe and she will reply. Cool. Overrated or underrated? Donald Trump.
Overrated. Fake news.
I like the hands. Don't love the voice.
Fake news.
You're overrated. Trump.
Overrated.
Trump is underrated. 100%. He has to be.
Why?
Because how can a person like that become the president of the United States? Underrated, son.
True. I remember in 2009, I was like 9 at the time, and there was a documentary about him on like Discovery Channel or something like that. And I was like, the way they'd framed it was he was this like super successful businessman and he just lives the best life. And I was like, this dude's incredible. You know, like he just like built all of Trump Tower and all that sort of stuff. And my dad walks in the room. I'm like halfway through the documentary. He's like, he's not a good guy. He's not a good guy. In 2009.
Matthew was right. I don't know why a 9-year-old was watching a documentary about Trump.
That was anyway. A weird child. Okay, next one.
Madagascar, overrated or underrated?
Underrated. 100%. I love those penguins. Kowalski. Kowalski. And then I've...
Shut up, Maurice. King Julian's the best. Okay. We don't need a thesis about all. I need underrated and explanation. Okay. This is why we have previously had banned you, and I think you're going to get another banning.
Okay.
Max Verstappen's girlfriend.
Underrated. Of course. Am I allowed to expand? She's savage, like absolutely savage. So Kvyat, Max took his seat and his son, essentially.
Well, Jesus, Chloe. No, enough from you. God, that is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard.
What do you mean?
Seat and then his son. Have some respect for Kvyat.
Am I lying? Did I lie?
Oh my God. Okay. Are airplane crashes overrated or underrated?
Overrated. No one likes them.
Fair.
They're bad.
Vomiting in an Uber, overrated or underrated?
Definitely overrated. Who would say that's underrated? Who?
No one. I think that was pretty
I rest
fair.
my case, but I want to add one more to overrated, underrated.
Okay.
McDonald's Sprite. Underrated.
What?
McDonald's Sprite.
I couldn't hear you. Yeah, McDonald's Sprite is overrated as fuck, boy. Jesus, what absolute sweating bullets.
Yeah.
Can't hear in my left ear for some reason.
I've really enjoyed
That's always fun. It's always fun.
Thank you for joining us, guys.
I thought you were talking to me.
Thanks for joining me, sir.
Yeah, so guys, again, I said last week we were going to be back on Monday and we're on Wednesday. It was just a crazy long week and we just wanted to make sure we did get an episode out this week for you guys.
Sweet.
Trying to get more back on our consistency bullshit. But yeah. There's just been tons of stuff going on in my life and tons of stuff going on in Chloe's life. And busy is good. Busy is awesome. So we're very happy to be busy. And we're happy to have you guys, happy to have you along for the ride. Again, please. Someone left us a 5-star review but then complained about the podcast not being out. That's the energy. So leave us a review on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
It's always great. And what else do we do? Oh, yeah, like and subscribe. And I think that's it, Chloe. Any parting shots?
No.
You never do have any.
No.
It's always like anything to say. No, and that's cool. You've said your piece.
Yeah.
You've told Kvyat that he lost his F1 seat and his son to Max Verstappen.
But if I met him in person, I'd tell him I'm his biggest fan.
I'm his biggest fan. Who's that very successful US politician who likes ice cream, sniffing children's hair? Oh, Joe Biden. Oh, what was I doing? I was just waving like a maniac. I forgot we do this.
Bye.
See you guys next week.